I'm live. Hello, and welcome to Live Coding. I'm just going to wait just a second for the streams to catch up with me and make sure that they are working correctly. All right, that looks good. 1080p, happy to see that. We have had, by we I mean me, some fun challenges with consistent internet connections lately. So that's a thing that we will handle. All right. And YouTube is also going. Hello and welcome to Live Coding. It is morning for me. I know it is not morning for all of you, but welcome nonetheless. I'm weirdly tired. Maybe it's not weird. What are we doing today? What's the title of the Live Coding? Let me just check that real quick. I do know what we're doing today, but I don't remember what I called it. Data validation for free-form text input. That's right. So, if you have not seen previous installments in this series, we are basically recreating the New York Times dialect quiz. Let's pull this up so we can see it, like we do at the beginning of every stream in this series. And what we are doing is basically creating this multiple choice quiz, except instead of having multiple choices, we're letting people answer it using free-form text. So basically whatever they would say, they would write down. And unlike the New York Times dialect quiz, we have 19 questions rather than 25 because there were a lot of pronunciation questions. And I would like to eventually have this be a voice skill. And I think it's going to be a little hard to get the pronunciation questions in there. So we'll figure that out in the future, maybe. And right now what we're doing is we have created the quiz such that it will take in any input that someone uses to respond to a question. Hi, Nariman. Sorry if I'm saying that wrong. Welcome to the stream. Go away. So here's the. This should also all say text. Here's the text of all the questions. I'm just going to go through and real quickly fix. If you like the code, the GitHub link is at the bottom of the YouTube video. And if you are on Twitch, it is on my GitHub, which is RCTATMAN, the same as my Twitch handle. I try to be consistent as much as possible with my stuff. Okay, so we have a number of slots, and these are basically spaces that you know what the label of the thing is, but not necessarily what's going to be in it. And what I want to do today is figure out how to take the input to the slots. So, for example, this second person plural, someone would ask, how would you address a group of two or more people, as in our blank ready to go. Let's cut off a little bit, but that is what it says over there. And take that answer and map it to one of the multiple choice questions, which are, I believe, in here, question key. Yeah. So in our question key file, which is also in the GitHub repo, wow, you can see that each of these questions has multiple possible answers and was originally presented for the original data collection for the Harvard Dialect Survey. Dialect Data Survey, that's nothing. The Harvard Dialect Survey was presented as a multiple choice question. And we are doing it as free-form text, but our model accepts one of those choices or other for, I think, most categories. Yeah, so you can see this one has other. This one doesn't because the question is, do you pronounce these two words different or the same? Hello, Breakbits and Talha. Welcome to the stream. A little sip of water. And what we want to do is we want to take the free-form input that the person has done in their response and map it to the correct multiple choice response, and if none of them are correct, then mapping it to other. Loads since the last chance to join the session. Oh, thank you. I feel like it's going very slowly, but also I am here every session, and I'm also not really working on it outside of live coding, so it's feels a little bit, I don't know, slower than it could be, which is fine. I don't mind that. All right, so forms in the Rasa docs. Also, I turned off the thing where Windows will automatically minimize your windows for you, and it's made my life much better. I would recommend it. Validating user input. Here we go. Okay, so there are in... Let's zoom out a little bit. There we go. So there are in the Rasa docs this example of validating input specifically for a sort of... I would say it's like a database lookup type of scenario where you need to correctly match your user input to one of the keys in the database. And that's not quite what we're doing, but I figured it might be a good place to start. My thoughts for this, so I'll walk you, I've been thinking about it a little bit. I haven't been working on the code, but I have been thinking about it. So my thoughts for this are to do fuzzy matching. So fuzzy matching, a lot of the, I'm sure there's something that I'm not familiar with, but most of the approaches that I'm familiar with use edit distance. So for example, cat and bat would have an edit distance of 1. Cats and climber, I think that's what it is, would have an edit distance of however many extra characters are in cats and climber, and also I think the C is a K, so it would have a larger edit distance. So you'd be more likely to say cat and bat are the same word than cat and cats and climber are the same word. Basically, that was a weird example. I warned you, I'm weirdly tired. But I do have coffee in my... Oh, can I get it off without spilling it on myself? Nope, I'm just gonna have to drink it left-handed. It's got a little... It's a business hedgehog. He's got a little briefcase. He's going to work. I assume he, because he's wearing a tie, but I could be wrong about that. Yeah, fuzzy matching. The problem with fuzzy matching is it is slow. And if we're doing it for every answer in a 19 question quiz, I think it's going to add quite a bit of latency to the quiz. But I can't really think of another way to do this that will allow for things like typos or differences in pronunciation, punctuation. Well, actually, no, the punctuation thing is trivial, just strip punctuation. But typos are still going to be a problem, especially for words that somebody might use in their speech but might not write down a whole bunch. So... yeah. Anyway, so here we have the validation example that's included in the Rasa documentation. So this is a database of supported cuisines that has 7 supported cuisines. And then there's this function validate cuisine that just looks at the exact string match. So whatever... For this to work to us, whatever the person put in would have to exactly show up as one of the multiple choice answers in this multiple choice quiz, which feels unlikely. And the reason that we do need to do this matching is because we are going to have to take the user input and then run it through our label encoder to correctly, for example, map expressway to the same numeric variable that it had when we trained our model. So the other thing is we have 19 questions, right? All of them are multiple choice. I don't necessarily want to have 19 databases. I guess I can do it as a dictionary. I guess that's going to be a little bit more reasonable, right? So we might do it as a dictionary. Let's just write some of this stuff down while I'm thinking about it. Okay. So I think probably we would want to do our validation right after our elicitation form. I don't believe it's in the elicitation form class in the documentation, and I want to like stick as close to documentation as possible just for my peace of mind. Doop doop. Rasa HQ, I want the form bot. And I need to confirm my two-factor authentication. That looks correct. All right, here we go. So this is the example for forms, which is the specific way that we are collecting information. And the nice thing about forms in Rasa is you don't have to like provide a bunch of example conversations where you ask the same questions in the same order. You just provide these particular, let's go back to where we was. I think it was in the domain. Yeah. So you just provide these utter, ask, and then the name of the slot that you want to fill, and then include, of course, all of those slots in the slot definitions, and also include them as entities. And then once you do that, if you also have in your, not config, I'm looking for stories. There we go. You can also have the usual way that you would do it. So this is what the user says, this is what the bot says, or the assistant. So the user says like howdy, and the bot says, hey, do you want to start a quiz? And if the user says yes, then you start this elicitation form action. So it'll ask all of those questions and get the information for all the slots and store them in the appropriate slots. And then for this particular example, then I say what's in each of the slots. For now, I'm probably going to delete this at some point, but it's just sort of like while I'm developing it to make sure that I have something in each of the slots. And then we run this action detect dialect that detects what dialect it is based on the user input. And then we tell the user what we think their dialects are. And then in the story, the user says, thank you. And then we say, no problem. That's what I was designed and built for, the assistant will say. And then we have a couple different stories in here as well. And these are used to train the dialogue management model to pick what to say next. So if we didn't have forms, we'd have to have the question and the answer to each of the 18 or 19 questions that we have in order. And forms are really just a much more compact way of doing that. Plus, better for data validation. And I'm still just thinking my thoughts. Okay, so this is the domain YAML for the form bot, and we want the actions. The actions is the Python file where sort of the business happens. It doesn't have to be Python. It could be sort of any arbitrary code that you want your assistant to call on. We have a Python SDK that's released right now, and also that's the language I'm most familiar with, so that's what we're using here. And this does, your action server has to run separately from your assistant server. So the assistant server, the Rasa server, is figuring out what to say next, handling the business end of the conversation, NLU, all of that, and then the action server is whatever arbitrary code you're going to need to run to do whatever it is that your assistant does. So actions is where the form is. So here's the form action, and this one collects 5 pieces of information, and then returns, okay, and then all right, so it looks like actually the validation is included in the form class. So it's not like a separate thing. All right. Okay, so we are going to want to do our validation in the form class as well, I think. And that makes sense because then it would happen whenever you run the form action. Okay, I'm just thinking aloud here. And dying. No, I'm fine. I'm fine. I just need more coffee. Actually, no. This sippy cup lid is between me and the coffee, and it's not helping. There we go. Little awful ASMR there. Sorry about that. Coffee. Okay. So in our actions.python file, which is in the home directory of our assistant, before submit, we want to do the validation. And I think the easiest first step is going to be to do exact matching. And then after we have exact matching working, do fuzzy matching. And yeah. I think that's going to be the most reasonable way to do it. And I think instead of what is it in the docs? Is it a list? It's a list. Instead of a list, because we have one database, we have 19 questions, so 19 answers. So we're going to do that. And then here, instead of, where do they validate the cuisine? Here, instead of returning cuisine as none and telling the person, hey, something's wrong, we're just going to set it to other, I think is what we're going to do. So let's see. Check if string is an integer. I think we can actually not handle that right now. So, because I don't think that any of these questions are about numbers, so hopefully we're not going to get any number type answers. And if you were here when we very first started doing the assistant, you might remember that we actually did remove this validation, and now we have added it back in. And that's just, baby steps, a little bit at a time. Yeah. Okay. So I promised fuzzy matching, maybe in the video description. We're not going to do fuzzy matching today, I don't think. I would be perfectly happy just to have our multiple choice answers as a dictionary and then validate each of the answers against the dictionary. Sorry, I'm just looking at this function. So it's a function for validating cuisine. Self value is text, because we're not gonna do Is this just a typing thing, or is this saying that value Sorry, I'm just reading this. Create a new string object from the given object. If the encoding or errors is specified, the object must expose a data buffer that will be decoded using the given encoding and error handler. Oh, okay. Yeah, the character encoding. Okay, that makes more sense. Otherwise, return the results of the object string if defined, or object. That's unpronounceable. Encoding defaults to default get system default encoding. Errors default to strict. It should default to UTF-8 IMO, but I see why you would use the system default. This may be a thing where Windows is a thing. I'm pretty sure Windows 10 UTF-8 is the default. If it's not, I will write a strongly worded letter to somebody. Okay, so this is casting value as text, and this is value.lower in self.cuisinedb. Okay, so validation succeeded to the value. Validation failed. Set the slot to none, meaning the user will be asked for this slot again. Okay, I'm looking back at the example code real quick. So my question here is, when is validate cuisine called? And can we have just a general method that validates broadly? No, we don't want that. So, sorry, what I was thinking of is we could take all the answers to all the multiple choice questions, put them in a single flat data structure, and then to validate, check if our person's answer is in that data structure, and if it is, good to go. Otherwise, we give them other as their option. But we don't want to do that because at the point when we do fuzzy matching, we want to restrict that to specifically the answers that are available for the question that they just answered. So we don't want to use a single flat data structure. We do want to use some sort of hierarchical data structure. Is this the only one that they're validating via database? Is the fact that we're doing the cuisine slot defined via the name? Okay, validate number of people, value text, validate number of people, self isn't value, in value, number of people, value, validate outdoor seating, submit dispatcher, run outdoor seating value. Okay, so based on this, and then the validation is not discussed up here, and not everything is validated because it looks like feedback isn't validated. So I think we need to say, I think we need to have a separate one for each, where the name of the function is validate underscore slot name, which means we're going to have 19 of these. It's going to be fluffy. We could probably do something dynamic to generate the functions, but I think that sounds like a recipe for disaster. So I'm not going to do that. I'm sure someone else could do this in a more clever way. I'm hyping myself up to do this in a very dumb way, and I hope you're excited to join me on this journey. Not dumb, just inelegant. There's going to be a lot of repetition. But I think one way that we can reduce repetition is if value.lower in self cuisine underscore db. I think one way that we can reduce repetition is that we can create a single database that has probably a dictionary structure, and then use that to validate each of them, so we're not creating a different database for every single question with multiple choice answers. Yeah. All right, let's get to work. I think I figured out what we're going to do. We're going to start with just exact matching, and then move along to inexact matching, I guess. Are there enough question answers that I want to script this? Or should I just do it by hand? I think I just want to do it by hand. Yeah. Pretty sure I just want to do it by hand. Okay. And I am actually going to, I think, do this in a Jupyter notebook just so I can do some guest and testing and make my life easier. New file. Let's call this validation. Well, it's like a scratch paper sort of thing. How do I want to say this? I'm doing, oh, no, not what I wanted. Not what I wanted at all, even no. All right, let's delete you. Yeah, just remove it to the recycling bin. I'm gonna start again. All right, new file. Okay, so it looks like we're good. Okay, yes. Everyone happening? Yes? Yes, excellent. This is very frustrating. We've been having some internet issues the last couple streams because I work from home, and these days everyone is working from home, and it's a little bit of strain on the network. But that's fine. We will get through it. Okay. I'm thinking, sorry. I think actually I do not want to do this by hand. Excuse me. Still can't breathe coffee. I did check just now. Doop, doop, doop. All right. I think I want to do that in a different way. So let's do PD dot. V and then nope. Show working directory maybe? Nope. Git read? Nope. Right, okay, so that's not working. Zipido. Where is this gosh darn notebook located? Alright, so it's in classifier and then question key CSV. Alright. Question underscore key dots. There we go. Okay, excellent. So now we have read this in. I think we can do this in a little bit more elegant of a way than just straight up copying and pasting. Do I really want to have this CSV as a dependency? I think I can, once I have it all read in, generate the code to create it in the file, probably. That seems like a thing that you should be able to do. Okay. And I am gonna adjust my windows slightly on my other monitor so that I can see when I'm having connectivity issues a little bit better. Not that there's anything I can do about it, even if I know, besides feel frustration. Also not how you spell question key. All right, there we go. All right, from here we want to parse the was it not called responses? Am I? Am I out of my gourd? R-E-S-P-O-N-S-E-S. R-E-S-P-O-N... Wait, actually I can just do this. R-E-S-P-O-N-S-E-S. I guess I spelled bad. All right. R-E-S-P-O-N-S-E-S. Was that right? Nope. Have I just forgotten how... Question key. Have I forgotten how pandas works? There's no autocomplete. Yeah, maybe I just don't know how pandas works. I mean, like pandas, the animals, I think are fairly straightforward. They eat bamboo and sort of sit there. Access column by name pandas. Accessing pandas, data frames, columns, rows. Yeah. Blah, blah, blah. Dot lock. With specific rows, single cell, position-based indexing. Column names. All right. No, that definitely is how you access things by name in pandas. Mangesh says, I think it's a series. Try responses. All right. RESPONSES. No. I'm fairly sure this is I'm like 80% sure this is a data frame. It looks like a data frame. All right. Maybe I'm misspelling responses. Maybe this is one of those things. Key error. Pandas, libs, hash table, index engine, get lock, base pi, method tolerance, hash table, libs, hash table. You know what we're gonna do? We're gonna close this and we're gonna reopen it. Because I have had some problems in the past specifically with Jupyter in VS Code, where it's just gone very weird. And again, in the past, restarting has helped. Didn't help this time. Let's see. 3.7, Rasa install. Yep, that's the one I want. Well. All right. Emiliano, sorry if I'm saying that wrong, says iLock. I'm gonna try it. I think I need to provide something there, yeah. I think it needs to be a string as well. Can I index by location with non-integer key? Okay, let's try just like 3, I think this is the third. Question text, what you call the... Oh, that's a row. That's the third row. Also, there's something about iLock and a recent version of pandas, and I don't remember what it is. Is that gonna work? Nope. Can I get 1? Emanuelo says no string. Thank you. There is a little bit of a delay between me and the stream, hence the problems of me not responding right away. Also, this should definitely work. That should 100% work. That is correct panda syntax. I'm not losing my mind. All right. And Emmanuel says, do some slicing. Oh, wait, it's going to be 2 because it's the second one. Okay, thank you. I don't know why that was so hard. And Zeltium suggests question key got columns to see a list of columns. Also, not a bad idea. Let's try that real quick. There's a leading space. What Yahoo made this file? It was me. I made the file. Sorry for yelling. Well, mystery solved. Just real quick. Just gonna do something real quick. solved. Robbie says, hi, Rachel. How are you? Better now. What are you doing? Making files badly, apparently. We are working on data validation for the user responses. And to start with, we're going to just do exact matching with the multiple choice questions. And then we are later on going to do something else. Mangasha's facepalm. Yep, that's, well, mystery solved at least. And I feel bad that I made a mistake, but better that my command of pandas has not, like, completely abandoned me in this time of, stress. Hi, Crop, welcome. All right, so what are we doing? We want this to be a dictionary where the key in the dictionary is... we change the text of the questions. We changed the text of the questions, and we did not provide a key to the questions that was based on the immutable way of referring to the questions, which is their index, like Q20 or whatever. I've made my life difficult. So our slots are called something completely new. Our features in the classifier are called Q050, Q028, and stuff like that. The thing that should be the same between those two things is the text of the questions. However, I modified the text of a lot of the questions. And if I thought that through while I was doing with it, I would have had an easier time right now. Oh no. That's a problem. Okay. Athir says, is this a Jupyter notebook inside of VS Code? It is. It is. I think it's a relatively recent addition because I know that I talked to somebody at the VS Code team at PyCon in Cleveland last year, 2019. And they hadn't implemented it yet, and they were sort of working on it. I had a couple proofs of concept they wanted feedback on. So it's a relatively recent thing. There are some, like, weird problems with it every so often, especially with the where the editing that you are doing is not actually changing what's being parsed in the code. Like every so often they'll become desynchronized, and that's very weird. But yes, it is. Zeltiam says, one of the interview questions I do to try to see if I can get folks caught up with leading spaces for a data cleaning exercise trips a lot of people up. Oh, I feel better. Crop also says, mistakes happen to the best of us. True. And I would say I'm not necessarily at my best right now. Okay, so this is a problem. The other thing that we could do is we could just go through and do indexing, but these aren't all in the same order because we started with 3 example questions and we did not change those in the order. So what are we going to do? What are we going to do? I think one thing that makes the most sense for making our lives easier right now is to change each of the slots names, instead of a nice semantic readable thing, to a question number, which would be more in keeping with our model that we originally trained. Because that's what our feature names are. Our feature names are these question numbers. The problem with that, also speaking of leading spaces, nice. Good job, Rachel. You've really made your life difficult here. The problem with that is that they're not super easy to read. So I think, okay, but the problem is, okay, so I'm just thinking about all of the different data structures we have, all of the different places that we have data, where we have the answers to the questions that we use to train our classifier. the answers to the questions that we used to have train our classifier, the column names of that data is these Q05, Q028 sort of thing. I guess the thing that makes the most sense is to go back and change them to the nice semantic names that we are using as our slot names. Because what I don't want to do is change all of our slot names to something super hard to follow, like just like an index, basically. I want them to be something that a person could look at and read and be like, oh, I can figure out what this slot is supposed to have in it. Because that's going to make debugging of the assistant much easier later on. And if I ever get to the point where I'm having other people help me with data annotation to improve the assistant, I want them to be able to understand what's going on. So I think what I need to do, God, I don't want to do this. I think what I need to do is go back, retrain my model with different names for each of the slots. So different names for each of the features that are the same as the slot names that we're using in our model here. And from there, it's going to be relatively easy to match the slots to the features in our model for our label encoding. And the reason that we can't just like keep going with what we've started doing right now is, so we have like this second person plural, right? It's question 0 here. In this particular one, it is question 050, right? And this text, this question text, how would you address a group of 2 or more people, is not the question that we are asking our users, because I rewrote it because I thought it would be better. And I stand by that. I think it is better. But the specific thing that we have asked our users is, nope, it's going to be in domain here. The specific thing that we've asked our users is, how do you address a group of 2 or more people, as in our blank ready to go? Because the way that you could address group of 2 or more people would be like, oh, I just call that a group. I'd call that a couple. I'd call that a few, right? It's a very open-ended question. So having like a fill in the blank paradigm, I think, is a little bit easier for people to answer correctly because we do have this open-ended structure. So, and then we have that, and we're calling it second person plural, which is this, this is the name of the slot, it's the name of the entity, and it's also like the actual thing that we're asking, and that's readable by humans. Unlike, where'd he go? How can I see like the rest of my, nope. Oh, wow, I don't want to do this. Unlike question 050, I think is the one that is, which is not readable by humans. This is not semantic to me. Oh, God, I don't want to do this. It's going to be so much work, but it's going to be so much better later on. Ugh. Ugh. All right. Well, I promised data validation. We are, in fact, doing refactoring. Yeah. Mangesh says, let's solve this. Just give tab between columns and read CSV with tab as a separator. Yeah. We could definitely do that. That's not the particular question that I'm faced with right now. And I think you also said that like a while ago. And I'm just now getting around to it because I'm convincing myself I need to do this thing. Oh, I don't want to do it. Gonna do it. Sure don't. Do got to. All right. All right. So question key. In this one, I want it to be RNLU. Nope. Domain. Domain. There we go. All right. We're going to have to go back and retrain the model. That's okay. I actually think we need to sort of retrain the model anyway, because I think at some point I've actually messed up my, I messed up when encoding the variables, or unencoding the variables, I guess. And I think that it's likely that I have made a mistake there that is making my model things meaningless. Zeltcm says like emoji of a person with a wrench. Most excited emoji I could find for refactoring. Thank you. Cutpork says, don't do it. Nah, we gotta do it. It'll make our life better in the long term, and when we hand this code off to other people, it'll be good for everyone if I just do it now. I'm just gonna do it now. All right. So let's add a new column at the beginning where we have our slot names. Oh, also I should say let's call this slot name, no leading space there. All right. And again, these are not in order, so I can't automate them. And the text of the questions is not the same, so I can't automate it. I mean, I could, but I'd have to do a lot of fuzzy matching and fussing, and I think it will just be easier to copy and paste, which is what we did on Wednesday as well. So I'm sensing a theme. What do we call that? Caught. Well, while I'm copying and pasting, how are you guys doing? Everybody holding up pretty good? Rain, sun. Crawfish. I know for Christians out there, it's Easter coming up. I know it was Passover this week, and I think there's like a holiday and a psalm on Monday. I'll admit I am not very educated about a lot of Indian holidays. Side road, small road, that's the right one. What do you call sweetened carbonated beverage? What do we call that beverage? Now that I've just decided to do it, I feel much better about it. Shoes, I think we called that. Big road, highway. Yard sale. I will say, I am starting to feel traffic jam, rubbernecking. I am starting to feel that we're getting to the point where there is light at the end of the tunnel. Like, I think we're well over halfway done in this thing. Mangesh says, you promised me last time you would get rid of that min-map file. You know what? I did, and I didn't do it. So let's do it right now. All right. File. Let me just save everything real quick first. And rubbernecking is the one that we were on. Let me say file, preferences, settings, min-map maybe? Min-map, editor min-map, enabled. All right. I don't know what that changed, but hopefully that makes you feel better. All right, rub it up. Frosting or icing? Frosting. First syllable of lawyer, lawyer. There we go. I think my mom says lawyer, but my aunt says lawyer. I think. I don't know. My family doesn't really much talk about lawyers. What if for something that is across both streets, kitty corner? This part is not the awful part. The awful part is going to be refactoring everything. Although I think what I'm going to do now is I'm just going to pretend that we've gone back and done this with the modeling and continue working with our improve through, drive through liquor store, and continue working with our validation, and then next time we can go back and do the thing that I really don't want to do, which is retrain our model from scratch. I mean, it's not going to be that bad, but it will be a little bit frustrating. All right, do we have slot names for everything? Yes. Did I introduce any leading spaces? No. All right. Peace out. Bye and bye. All right. So now when we read this, we should be able to see question key dot slot names. Is that not what I called it? Oh, slot name. Gotcha. That makes sense because every slot has one name. And we have 19, which is the correct number. That's very good. All right. Where am I writing to-dos in this? I guess I'll write it in this file because this is where we're sort of like chilling for the moment. To do, rename model features to slot names in question underscore key.csv. Also, I need to do replace question question k key.csv in modeling dir with one in assistant dir. All right, there we go. Excellent. List of to-dos. All right, so now we have actual names that we can use. The scrolling tab is now gone. That means more space to write code. It is. Hey, thank you. That was very helpful. I didn't even notice that it was gone. It's just pleasantly not there anymore. Yeah, I'm sorry about not doing that. I just like straight up forgot. I've had a lot on my plate this week. But on Monday, new NLP for Developers video is coming out. Weirdly hard to film this one, but I'm very excited for it. It's about Convert, which is a, what's the name of the paper? Contextual representations of conversational turns using transformers. That's definitely not it. But it's a really nice, small, fast way of doing conversation turn embeddings, basically. Like sentence embeddings, but specifically for conversations. Yeah, so look out for that on Monday. Oh, the coffee is hitting, and I feel much less upset. I was doing really good with reducing my caffeine intake, and then the last week or so, it's sort of gotten a little bad again. Not that bad. Not as bad as it was, but... All right. So, let's... All right. So the thing that we want to do is we want to take the slot name and this list of options, and we want to create a dictionary where the key is the slot name and the entry is a list of these options, which we're also going to have to parse out because right now they're just a single semicolon delimited string. And this is going to take forever. It's 9:56. I'm going to real quickly check my schedule and see if I have any other meetings before we jump into this, because I do want this to be, you know, well on its way. And I do not. Which makes sense because it's a holiday in Europe, so all my European coworkers are hopefully doing something very lovely right now. Ooh. There's a bird on my porch. I don't know if you can hear it. Hey, buddy. But it looks like a sparrow. Just sort of sitting there and cheeping. I don't know if you can hear the cheeping. I'll turn the mic a little bit. That's very nice. Hello. I don't think we've ever had a bird just like land on the porch before. Very pleasant. I say porch. It's like a, what is it in an apartment building? Balcony? It's a balcony. Yeah, let's do it. Let's go for it. Gosh, I don't want to do this, but let's figure it out. Okay, so what are we doing? I'm going to write it down with human words. Create a dictionary with slot name as the key and what would we call it? Reasons? Responses? Responses as a list. Okay, so did we already do this? Did we do this with the other thing that we did? One sec, I'm just gonna really quickly dig through my file system real quick. Because as I remember, we did do something similar to read in the, there's two birds. Oh no, they're fighting. Oh, the drama. Sorry. They're gone now, but they like fought each other and flew off. It's the most exciting thing to happen in this apartment in like a month. All right. We did something similar. I don't remember if we did it in Python or R. If we did it in R, that's not going to work real good because I want a Python data structure here. But if we did it in documents, I think. No, not rename. Go into it. If we did it in Python, then we can just cannibalize that code. Data cleaning. I believe it was building classifier. All right, open that. There we go. This is in a completely different directory. All right, so what did we do? We read that in. Class target. So this was all taking the city and state name and combining them into a single feature that we were targeting, which is not the thing that we're doing here. Label and code the variables. Okay, so here's, label encoding the, specifically the names of the cities. Okay, I think we'd already done all of our data cleaning at this point, actually. So I think the thing that I think that we might have done, we actually did in R. Unfortunately, let me really quickly double check if I can see the R things. Not that it is unfortunate that we used R, but thanks. That's okay. I don't actually want to rebuild the classifier. Also, it's in the wrong directory, so I'd have to change my working directory and do a lot of futzing around that I don't necessarily want to do. I'm pretty sure we did the type of the data cleaning that I'm thinking about in R, but I could be wrong. All right, let's see. Questions key, question text, big data copy, action test, data cleaning, .r. Pop open RStudio real quick just to test. Pretty sure we did it here. Question with text, blah, 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 extract, question, select answer key for test, list key, target question, strings of vector. Yeah. All right. No, yeah, we definitely did this in R. Okay. We're gonna have to figure out how to do it in Python. Right. I guess let's just start with selecting one of the cells and then figuring it out from there. So, question key dot responses, and just let's grab the second one. Nope, we should grab the first one, huh? Good thing humans love to count from 0, and that's a normal thing that humans do. I don't like 0 indexing. Sorry, that's the whole point of that aside. Not a fan. All right. To Google. Python split string into list, hopefully based on a specific character. Python, how to split a string into a list. Text.split, that should be enough to store each word in list. Words is already, second might be a typo. Your loop is a little missed. Text.split. Oh, it looks like actually it might be very easy. All right, dot split and then semicolon. Okay, not bad. That was actually pretty straightforward. No one's gonna say that. Oh, we're gonna have to do so much data cleaning. Nerland says, are the birds still fighting? Nope, they are gone. They have completely pieced out. Hopefully they'll be back, or at least the victor. I guess the loser can also come back, but maybe they were fighting about, like, the perch? Who knows? We're not allowed to feed birds, or I definitely would have a little bird feeder out there. We also have hummingbirds near where I am, so I'd probably put a little hummingbird feeder out, but alas, it is against the terms of my lease. So, I think this is a place for loops, And I think, Python dictionary. That's not going to work. I don't think this is the right syntax. Could be wrong. What am I specifically looking to do? I want to set the Python dictionary set key. Blah, blah, blah. Dee-doo-doo-doo-doo. Return the keys. Nope, I want to set it. Dot keys. What? Oh, okay, so I can just do like... Okay, so... Sorry, I'm just like... futzing around in a different window, Googling things. Crop says, man, how much I hate CSV-related work. The data cleaning is the not fun part. I think most people would agree. Let's just call this test dict. And I believe you create an empty dictionary like so. Could be wrong. I've definitely gotten way better at Python syntax, but I'm still, every so often, I'll just make some problems for myself. I don't think... Oh, I don't need that actually. And the thing that I'm looking for, okay, and then we can just say and then have that be the content? Surely not. All right. And then what's in here? Okay. And then I can do this. No, I think I have to do it in here. Nope, I think it needs to be a string. Okay. And then if I just want the first thing? Okay. All right, that's actually much easier than I thought it was. Okay, so then we need to do this. What should we call this? Maybe answers DB? All right, and then we want to loop over a series, and I can't remember how to do that. I know there's Internet Raider, but I don't remember what it's called. Mangesh says, first split column responses by semicolon, then question key, set index, lot name, dot t, to dict list. Question key, set index. So I specifically don't want this to be in a data frame. I want it to be in a dictionary. Well, I mean, so the reason that it's not a good fit for a data frame to begin with is because we have different numbers of answers. So like for this one, we have, I don't know, 5 or whatever. And then for the second person plural, we have like 8. And then for like different or the same, we have 2. So there's a lot of variation in the possible answer, number of possible answers. So it would be, I mean, I could force it into a tabular data structure, but I don't really want to. And I think a dictionary makes more sense, particularly for something that we can just pop into our validation file as is, pop into our actions folder as it is, and then just pop it in. Pop. I'm just going to say that a lot more, I guess. All right. I want to iterate through a series. Vithor says, what would become of us data scientists without Google? It's a great question. I mean, we probably all have like a big stack of reference books, right? Oh, that sounds awful. I know, I realize that's the way it used to work, but it still sounds awful. What am I looking for? Iterate through. Nope. Rows of data frame? Pandas? Yeah, I think that's what I want. How to iterate over rows. I've definitely been on this answer before. iter rows for index row in iter rows. Okay. Index row in all right. And I think we can just do like so, because I believe it will. First of all, let's use the correct syntax. That's going to help quite a bit. And I believe that it will modify in place, so we can just say that this is index. And I'm actually going to split this up into two. I'm going to call this answers. 2 rows just for, you know, ease of reading and also my sanity. Nope. Index. And then make that be answers, and hopefully this will work real good. All right, let's check on answers DB. I see the problem. We are not actually changing the thing that I want us to change. All right. Nice. Yeah, heck yeah. Okay, fantastic. This looks great. So here is our database that we can use. And I think I can actually just copy and paste this and it's gonna work. Could be wrong, but I don't think I am. Let's call this answers db1 equals bam. And I think that'll work. And let's just quickly test for equivalence. Oh, this is an area of Python I'm not super comfortable with. Is this going to, okay, so is this going to like do pointer stuff? Or is this going to tell me if the content is the same? The content is the same. Fantastic. Fantastic. Very helpful. It didn't do pointer stuff. Actually, Python's not C-like, right? Does it even have pointers? I'm sure it's got pointers, but I don't know that you need to worry about them. Okay. Good, solid start. Very happy with that. And we're just going to pop this right into our actions folder. And we are, instead of cuisine database, we're going to call this answers database list text. It's actually going to be a text. It's actually going to be a dict of lists of texts. I think it might be angry about this. We'll find out, huh? And let's also do a good job of correct things and not a bad job of wrong things. One more. All right, and then don't need that. Don't need that, because it's not a list, it's a dictionary. And I think it's not, you can't just return something, it's got to be a function. I think these all need to be indented by 2, unindented by 2 rather. All right. Shift tab. Do I need one more? Or is that enough? Shift tab. Nope, I definitely didn't. Tab. All right. Unexpected indent block. Yeah. Oh, no, I can see how that could be. Yep. All right. Okay. Name dict is not defined. All right, that's a problem. Azrael says, definitely not like C. Yeah. Because R is C-like and Python isn't, if I'm remembering correctly, because I think that is the thing that tends to That is something that tends to surprise people. Diction not defined. All right. Python static typing. Specifically, I want a dictionary of lists of text. Typing, type hints, name string, list float. Oh. No, dict is definitely a thing that you can do. I think I need to import it from typing. You still gonna yell at me? You gonna holler? Yep, list is also not defined. Okay, excellent. Already dipped it. Excellent. Are you gonna yell at me about text? Sure am. All right. Otherwise, you gonna yell at me? Does it look good other than that? All real errors, not unhashable args, are raised below. Too few parameters for typing. Dict. Actual 1, expected 2. Actual Alan, expected Ellen. Huh. What the heck is Alan and Ellen? I've never encountered these before in my life. Maybe I have? Scroll. Is this still gonna throw some errors? Yeah, too few parameters for typing dict. Actual 1, expected 2. Crop says we actually needed the mini map to avoid all the scrolling. Yeah, fair enough. Actual Alan, expected Ellen. Nope, I do want the thing that I EX. Well, all of these responses are from the source code from the typing library. Do I just need to say that it's a dictionary and then we'll just like handle it from there? Can we? Nope, that's not what I wanted. I actually wanted to minimize it. Is that an option? Can I like make you small? Nope. Okay. Well. Let's, I suppose, look up an example of typing. Typing, dict, Python, support for type hints, difference between typing dot dict and dict. New bandwidths. Oh, let me just pop that over there so we can all look at it together. All right. I have read the typing module documentation between typing.dict or dict, which should I use in the program? Note that Python doesn't actually enforce type hints. They are just hints and not used at runtime or even compile time to enforce types. Python may be strongly typed to put opposite to weaking typed. It is also dynamically typed, opposite of strict typing. There is no difference. However, this is a generic type that lets you specify the type of keys and values too. Aha, aha, aha. Okay, so here's where we should say string list. Gotcha, 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 gotcha. All right, so we are looking for str list, and that's why we have an error, because it's looking for the types of the keys and the values, and it's been handled. All right, fantastic. Oh. Let's copy this over into our actions file. Required actions, all the things that we're doing, the actual way that we should specify our typing. That's an error. All right. All right, I think that is pretty good progress. So I think I'm going to call it here. It's the clock is behind my microphone, which is why I'm like looking weirdly at it. It's about almost 10:30. I think I'm ready to be done with this for now. I guess so. There's a little bit of a delay here. It says I think you should go for list-sticked text, which I'm assuming was typed before. We found out that for dictionary, when you're specifying typing, you need to do the type of the keys and then the type of the values. And this is a string key and a list value, because we have this thing with like lots of different answers, and as you can see, different numbers of answers for each of the questions. All right, no worries. It again, there's a lot of a delay. All right, Firebolt Playing says, do you have any video on demands where you're doing some Kaggle stuff other than Titanic? The Kaggle stuff I've done will be on the Kaggle YouTube channel. The Rasa stuff I've done will be on the Rasa YouTube channel, to answer your question. So, yeah. Okay, I think this is a good place to stop, and I'm just gonna... I think get rid of this. Excuse me. I think I'm gonna get rid of this and this. So we just have like the specific things that we did to get everything working. So we can refer back to it as we need to. All right. My guess says I'm gonna go watch Money Heist now. Bye, Rachel. Bye. Thank you for joining and all of your help. Yeah, I think we're good to go. Next Wednesday, which is next week, we will work on using our dictionary of answer keys and using them to validate the user answers. And we're going to start with strict string matching validation and then move on to fuzzy validation. I think is the fuzzy matching for validation is the thing that we will do next. And then we're going to have to go back and fix our model, which is fine. That's fine. We knew that we needed to go back to it anyway, so I will live with it. All right. Yeah, I'm gonna call that there. I hope you all have a great weekend. If you're celebrating any holidays, have great holidays, and I will see you on Wednesday for the next live streaming. And we're also gonna have a video up on Monday, and I believe we have an algorithm whiteboard video planned for Tuesday as well. So check in with the Rasa channel and have a lovely day and weekend. Bye.